Hey guys, this is Terilis here with another introduction of an Overwatch hero, an Overwatch hero overview, and I'm looking at Mei, who is one of our defensive heroes in the game. Now, Mei started out, her name is Mei-Ling Zhou, and she started out basically as a scientist. She is, an environmentalist. She cares a lot about the environment and trying to figure out what is the trouble. Now, this happened a little bit before the Omnic crisis. Overwatch was there, and she felt that the best way she could try and work to save the environment was being with Overwatch. So she joined Overwatch, and Overwatch created a series of eco-Watchpoints in remote locations of the world to try and figure out what was going on. In the specific case of Mei, she was assigned to the Antarctica Overwatch outpost, and that is where she began her scientific work to try and figure out what climate issues what were the problems causing the climate issues. Now, in the middle of her work, that Overwatch outpost was attacked by a polar storm, and the only way for survival was for them to go into cryostasis because their supplies basically dwindled to nothing with that polar storm, so they went into cryostasis and hoped for rescue. No one came to the rescue though, and she stayed there for a long times. Mei ended up being the only survivor, and later on, someone finally found Mei and saved her from that cryogenics chamber. Now, when Mei awoke, the world was completely different. The Omnic crisis had happened, Overwatch was completely gone, so things were completely different from Mei. However, Mei really didn't lose hope. She continued on with her study. She took, even though a lot of the clues to the problems with climate change were, kind of lost, she continued her work and traveled the world trying to figure out the clues as to why there was such a serious climate issue and why the climate was in peril. That is exactly how Mei became an Overwatch hero. So Mei is an undervalued hero in my opinion. I think she has a lot of potential and a lot of poke damage potential and overall just utility that she can bring to a team as a defensive hero. She's one of my favorites. I've had a blast playing her, and she's got a lot of uses in her kit. Now her first ability is called the endothermic blaster. Now basically it's you press the left trick and it's like a freeze of sorts, as you can see right here. And it has a lot of ammunition. Even though it's going down quickly, I have 200 ammunition, so I'm able to use it for a long time. I will say though, it can be difficult to freeze a kind of fast moving hero, but for the most part it does its job well. I can sit here and after a while he's going to freeze up and he'll become immobile. So especially a large tank target, if a large tank target comes in and tries to do something, you can use this endothermic blaster and just continually freeze them until they're frozen solid and they're stuck there for a few seconds, and then you can melee them and kill them. That is probably the most important combo that is used with Mei. Now the other option, notice that I'm not hitting the target. It's right here that I'm finally hitting the target. So as you can see, definitely got a short range on this. I'm sitting at this yellow marker here. However, her other option with the endothermic blaster is a kind of burst cannon. It's like a triple shot, and I'm gonna aim at that mob all the way back there that's firing at the robots. And as you can see right there, I'm hitting that target.
Ooh, sorry about that.
All the way across the map. A lot of damage. You can see right here just how much damage it does. It's just one ice missile. And it can fire quickly. You can hold down the button and it'll continue to fire. So it does a lot of damage. And it does, I believe, less damage the further away you are. I'm not quite sure about that. No, it looks no. I believe I did 4 ticks off of that one. So further away, 3 bars of health, up close. Nope. Looks about 3 bars of health no matter what. So she does a lot of damage, with a lot of poke damage with that. It doesn't matter how far away you are. Does a lot of damage. As you can see, I can poke him down from here. Let's see how much. Oh, I just killed it.
Be reasonable.
I guess we can see. We'll go ahead and fire this and see how much damage she actually does in one hit from across the map. It looks like it's not gonna show it. I need to hit you a little bit. So it doesn't do much damage from across the map. That's one thing to note. But it can attack from across the map and begin to poke people. And it becomes a powerful weapon. So you either have a choice of freezing the enemy and then meleeing them if you're in close range. Notice it started to slow them. It starts to slow them. Or you can poke damage them from afar. Now do know that the poke damage does take 25 ammunition at a time, which means you have 8 shots before it's all gone. But it is pretty powerful. Her first ability, outside of her weapon, is going to be Cryo Freeze. Now, this is Ice Block. That's all it is, Ice Block. Which can be very useful. As a defensive hero, I'm not as fond of it, but it plays into her kit very well. She is a close-range defensive hero. So whereas Junkrat and Hanzo can zone people from far away, Mei is kind of like the last stand. When they get too close, then you have her freezing enemies. You have her, you want her to stay alive as much as possible to try and mitigate and hold on to the point as long as possible if you're playing some type of capture point. And to further add to that is her second ability, which is Ice Wall. This is, if you've played the game Smite, this is taking a page out of Ymir's book. But as you can see here, if you want to go back in there, you cannot. I'm going to block you off with an Ice Wall. And you can destroy the Ice Wall prematurely, if you like to. But it is excellent at holding people off of objectives. So if you have people trying to get to an objective, you can block them off just like that. And once again, that plays into her kit of being more of a close range. If they're trying to make their way, they're this close, you can protect yourself for a while with that. And then you also have the freezing ability, and then you also have the ice block to keep you alive as long as possible on the point. So she is more of a close range defender. And even more so, playing into that is her final ultimate, which is the blizzard ability. I'm going to go ahead and use it right here, and basically just imagine that this is a point and the enemies are swarming you. Go ahead and launch out a blizzard, and it freezes everyone in the area, and they take lots of damage from it, allowing your team to mop them up if not too many of them have died, which is really an excellent utility. So that is another close range type ability in Mei's kit that plays into more of her close range defensive play style, which I really do like. She has the ability to poke, so while Hanzo and Junkrat may be zoning people away, she can be poking them down with her own damaging abilities. But at the same time, when things get close and Junkrat and especially Hanzo become less useful, that's when you can freeze them all or block them off with walls, and freezing them will play well into Hanzo's hands, really to support your team when they get real close, and you can help keep them off that point, which is very valuable. So I really enjoy Mei. She's really a different type of defender in the reasons that she's up close instead of far away. There aren't as many up-close defenders as there are more the ranged zoning types, so it's nice to have her play in the game. Really enjoy her. I hope you guys check her out. She's a lot of fun. But that is everything for May. Hope to see you guys out there in Overwatch. Otherwise, see you later. Terilis out.